What's going on YouTube? We are back from the Arnold. We are rested. We are recovered. I had an amazing time and we'll talk about that in another video. If you've been following Shorts or Instagram or any of the rest of that stuff, you know that for the entire month of February, I was squatting 405 or more pounds every single day for the entire month. And that went really well. Well, as it turns out, this young man, Pygmy, I'm not really entirely sure how to say his name. I'm only kind of familiar with his channel at this point. He was doing a similar experiment at the same time and got very different results. I thought I'd sit down and talk about why, our different approaches, and how that netted us the different results that we got. So just to be really clear, this is not a call out video. I think the kid's really nice. He seems to do positive content primarily. I'm really enjoying what he does. He does a lot of challenges and whatnot. Go check out his stuff. Go check out his channel. And with that, let's get into it.
Squatting every day. Is it too much? Or is it actually a secret to putting on pounds of strength and muscle to the lower body?
That's right, squatting every day with two very different approaches. And you'll see just how much difference that came out in the results. But I think that we both actually achieved largely what we were going after. We tried to observe different things. Me, specifically, I was only looking for confidence and competence under the squat after, tweaking my knee and my back, things like that. I just wanted to feel better under the squat. And my success would have been if I was able, after all of that accumulated fatigue of an entire month of squatting 405 or more every single day, if I was still able to hit 405 by the end of it, I would have known I was more comfortable. For him, he wanted more leg size, he wanted more strength. He wanted to hit, I think it was 225 pounds for 10, up from 185 pounds for 10. Now that said, I don't think that was a reasonable time frame to try and achieve that in just 7 days, or that you're going to see any significant growth or even perceivable growth in your legs in just 7 days. But it was what he was going for. It was what he was trying. So I respect the attempt. After a month, I think maybe perhaps I gained a little bit of extra size, but I didn't take measurements at the beginning like he did, so I can't say with any amount of certainty. What I do know is that I ended up stronger. So what are the two main differences in our approach? Well, the first is very minor. He focused on a gram of protein per pound of body weight. I, having a damaged kidney, can only do 0.7 to 0.8. I've been doing that for years. My blood work comes back within range. I still manage to make success. I still build muscle. I'm still stronger every year. So I know that it is enough. I know that it is perfectly adequate in order to generate muscle, to build strength, even at my size. The second major difference that we had was the total volume and intensity that we utilized. Whereas I started with a single repetition of 405 pounds for the first 10 days, and then gradually increased over time as I became more comfortable, he started right out the gate with his test day, followed by 10 sets on the very next day. And as you see, the ability to perform weight gradually decreases over those days until the accumulated fatigue that he's experiencing by day 4 and 5 was so bad
The fatigue felt at an all-time high
that he was unable to complete the sets that he had planned out. He only got through about 4 of them. Now that turned out to be a benefit, that little bit of rest. On the 6th day, he came back and performed pretty well. On the 7th day, he went as planned. And then he took 2 days off before testing out and getting his final results. That's a very minor difference because I tested out on my last day. At the beginning of my challenge, I felt like if I got 405 pounds for a single rep after accumulated fatigue of an entire month, that would have been a huge success. As it turns out, I blew that expectation out of the water. By day 10, I was doing 2 reps a day. By day 21, I was doing 3 to 5 reps a day. Sometime in the 4th week, I decided to go for it, and I got 8 reps with 405, which at that time was a personal record for me. I'd only ever hit 7 before, and at that time, I could squat 500 pounds. So that was indicative to me that perhaps I had actually gained strength all along. My knees didn't hurt, my back didn't hurt, whereas the amount of volume that he was doing during his experiment in just 4 or 5 days had accumulated so much fatigue he was unable to get through what he had planned for that day. So I think that starting with just a mere 80% of my 1 rep max at the beginning of this challenge as compared to how he started, and then gradually building over time, a total amount of volume on top of what I was already doing in the gym that was just not too much to recover from, actually helped me gain strength and spare my knees and spare my back, whereas he was experiencing all of that discomfort in his knees. Now, he took 2 days off and then came back and tested out, and he got pretty good results. He ended up getting 185 pounds for 10 reps with what he felt was 5 reps in reserve. From what watched in the video, I feel like, yeah, he's probably right. He was going at a good clip. He definitely had 3 to 5 more reps in him.
With about 5 more in the tank around rep 10, I racked the weights. And rather than going up in weight, which I was planning to do, I decided to call it a day.
On my last day of the challenge, taking no days off, I went ahead for as many as I could possibly do because when I had done 8, I really felt like I still had some in the tank. And I got 10, which is a 2-rep increase less than a week later, just putting out a little more effort. And I feel like if I had really dug for it, been willing to risk it for a biscuit, I might have gotten 12. That is a significant increase over anything I've ever been able to do before. And I felt better at the end of the month than I did at the beginning of the month. I did not have a bunch of accumulated fatigue. And I think that that's because the total amount of volume and intensity that I had over the course of the week was perfectly reasonable. Even when I was doing 3 to 5 reps that last week, even with that set of 8, it was still about 30 total repetitions of heavy weight. I made sure that on my leg days when I was working lower body press, that I was doing primarily accessory work, that my heavy sets were minimal, and that kept the fatigue from building up. Now at the end of this, did I end up with quadzilla legs? No, they might have grown a little bit, but I felt a hell of a lot stronger. I still haven't attempted a new 1-rep max. One of the things that I have done immediately is I've started benching 365 pounds every day. Now that's a little higher percentage than I started with the squat. 80% for the squat, and since that was so easy, I've started with 87% of my highest 1-rep max on the bench press. And by day 6, things are going pretty well. That looked like I had another solid 1 or 2 reps in the tank. Now, what did we both get out of this? Did we hit our goals? Well, my man's here. He feels like he hit his.
Back does feel healthier, stronger, and more fortified, specifically the lower back, now than, well, in the last 5 to 10 years, and I'm being serious. I really think only that week of training really made a difference when it comes to rigidity in my core and just getting that kind of back to a very good level.
We both got more confident and competent under the weight. I'm moving forward into this bench experiment for the next 30 days, 365 for 30, to see how well that goes. And if that goes exceptionally well, I might try it for the deadlift. We'll see. Or maybe I'll just do 365 for 365. That would be nuts. All right, that's it. That's the video. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. It is good to be back. More videos to come. I appreciate each and every one of you. So until I see you in the next video, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and go fit yourself.